seen in India for the last 3 years is that there is a continuity to fiscal policy. There's been a very strong emphasis on capital spending, and I don't see that being diluted. Having said that, the job situation, the weakness in private consumption does call for a step up in different kinds of spending to boost rural demand in particular. So I think what we'll see the difference from the interim budget is that we will see a greater focus on asset creation in the rural areas that should support jobs. The second would be some expansion of the Rural Employment Guarantee Program. And I think from a longer term and a structural perspective, we do need to invest more in the quality of human capital, and the interim budget did make some strides in that area. I expect this to be strengthened.
And these freebies or these tax swaps or changes in the income tax slabs, you don't think would in any which way compromise the fiscal consolidation roadmap that the finance minister has laid out? So you're expecting a number on fiscal deficit at 5% from 5.1%. Can they continue on that glide path?
We're actually going for 4.9.
You're going for 4.9?
We're going for 4.9. And I think that there is considerable fiscal space right now. The revenue position is quite buoyant. So,
led by?
Well, one, the RBI dividend was about 0.3% of GDP higher than what is budgeted. The second is, if you look at tax buoyancy, it's been really very strong.
Coming from GST?
It's coming from GST, it's coming from direct taxes, and what you can see is that so far the run rate is certainly better than what was budgeted. The third is that the budget assumed a very conservative sort of nominal GDP growth number of 10.5% growth. Our view is that it's probably going to be stronger than that. So all these three factors cumulatively give them the space to continue with capex spending and even increase the quantum of freebies.
I also want to talk about the overall growth projections. Why is the government being cautious with their growth projections of between 6.5% to 7% when brokerages are more upbeat and the central bank is also more upbeat?
They are. And I didn't really get a very good explanation from the survey. I mean, they did acknowledge that the private sector is quite ahead. One is, of course, that the base has become more demanding. Second, my guess is they've taken into account more external uncertainties that are surrounding the economy right now. Having said that, I mean, we are obviously more optimistic, but there are two areas of weaknesses we feel are there. So as I earlier said, one is rural consumption, and we've seen for some time now that private consumption has been trailing overall growth. The other is that we still do not have a very strong situation when it comes to private capex. So if you put the headline GDP number aside, these are two areas of weakness that are still there.